If two vehicles arrive to an uncontrolled intersection at the same time, A. The largest vehicle has the right of way. B. The car on the left has the right of way. C. The car on the left shall yield to the car on the right. D. The car on the right shall yield to the car on the left. C. The car on the left shall yield to the car on the right. If two vehicles arrive at the same time to an uncontrolled intersection, the driver on the left must yield to the driver on the right. The driver on the left may then proceed when it is safe to do so. Distracted drivers are at a greater risk of a crash when they are using which of the following? A. CD player. B. Radio. C. Cell phone. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Using a cell phone, including a hands-free phone, or any kind of audio device, including a radio or CD player, can be a dangerous distraction and contributes to the risk of a crash. Do not make a U-turn unless you can be seen from both directions for at least A. 100 feet. B. 200 feet. C. 300 feet. D. 500 feet. D. 500 feet. Never make a U-turn where you cannot see or be seen for at least 500 feet in both directions. Locations where you should not make a U-turn include near the top of a hill and within a curve. There may be times when 10 miles per hour is too fast for drivers to safely operate their vehicles. A. True. B. False. A. True. Drive below the posted speed limit when safety demands it. Some traffic, weather, or visibility conditions may require you to drive as slowly as 10 miles per hour.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
You may cross solid yellow lines. A. To pass traffic moving in the same direction. B. During daylight hours only. C. At any time. D. When making turns. D. When making turns. As a general rule, broken traffic lines may be crossed but solid lines may not. Solid yellow lines may be crossed only when the driver is making a turn. Certain highway signs contain information about hazardous conditions. Such signs are known as A. Regulatory signs. B. Warning signs. C. Information signs. D. Guide signs. B. Warning signs. Warning signs advise drivers of potentially hazardous conditions. For your own safety, obey warning signs. Disregarding the information provided by a warning sign may result in an accident due to your negligence. A red traffic signal light means that you must A. Stop at the stop line. B. Stop before entering any crosswalk. C. Stop before entering the intersection. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. A red traffic light means that you must stop before entering the intersection. You must at any stop line and before entering any crosswalk. A driver entering interstate traffic from an entrance or acceleration ramp. A. Should yield to drivers already on the interstate. B. Has the right of way. C. May force their way into traffic. D. can assume that other drivers will change lanes to make room. A. Should yield to drivers already on the interstate. If you are on an entrance or acceleration ramp and are entering interstate traffic, you should yield to drivers already on the interstate highway. Merge safely into traffic when you are able to do so. When is it illegal to drive below the speed limit? A. When driving slowly disrupts the normal flow of traffic. B. When in heavy traffic in a construction zone. C. Only when driving in rural areas. D. When driving under adverse weather conditions. A. When driving slowly disrupts the normal flow of traffic. It is illegal to drive so slowly that you disrupt the normal flow of traffic. You may receive a citation for driving too slowly. Use your headlights anytime conditions prevent you from seeing at least A. 1,000 feet ahead. B. 500 feet ahead. C. 300 feet ahead. D. 200 feet ahead. A. 1,000 feet ahead. Activate your headlights when driving under any conditions that prevent you from seeing at least 1,000 feet in front of your vehicle. Motorists are not required to yield to pedestrians if they are walking against the traffic light. A. True. B. False. B. False. You must always yield the right-of-way to pedestrians. Be aware of the possibility that pedestrians may misjudge traffic signals and cross against a light. This sign is used to warn drivers A. That the right lane ends and traffic should merge left. B. That the road curves ahead. C. About upcoming intersections. D. About road construction. A. That the right lane ends and traffic should merge left. This sign indicates that the right lane on a multi-lane roadway ends ahead. Traffic in the right lane must merge left. A Class D license allows a driver to operate a vehicle that weighs up to A. 36,000 pounds. B. 40,000 pounds. C. 33,000 pounds. D. 26,000 pounds. D. 26,000 pounds. A Class D regular operator driver license permits a driver to operate a personal vehicle that weighs up to 26,000 pounds. Operating a taxicab with only a Class D license is not permitted. This sign means A. U-turns are prohibited. B. U-turns are permitted. C. Winding road ahead. D. Sharp left turn ahead. A. U-turns are prohibited. A regulatory sign displaying a red circle with a red slash through the middle indicates that a specific action is prohibited. U-turns are not permitted where this sign is posted. This road sign means A. Drive with caution and be ready to slow down. B. Do not drive in this lane. C. You must come to a complete stop and yield the right of way. D. Slow down, be prepared to stop, and, if necessary, yield the right of way. D. Slow down, be prepared to stop, and, if necessary, yield the right of way. This type of triangular sign means drivers must yield. You must slow down as you come to an intersection marked with this sign and be prepared to stop. Let any other vehicles, bicyclists, or pedestrians pass safely before you proceed. roads become very slippery? A. When it has been raining for an hour or more. B. The day after it rains. C. For the first 10 to 15 minutes of a rainstorm. D. Right after the rain has stopped. C. For the first 10 to 15 minutes of a rainstorm. Pavement can become very slippery within the first 10 to 15 minutes of a rainstorm because the rain causes oil in the asphalt to rise to the surface of the road. This problem becomes even worse in hot weather. The heat combined with the water causes more oil to rise to the road surface. This sign means A. Trucks are permitted on an upcoming narrow bridge. B. The bridge ahead is open to one-way traffic only. C. The bridge ahead is wide enough for only one car at a time. D. The bridge ahead may be too narrow to meet or pass a truck. D. The bridge ahead may be too narrow to meet or pass a truck. Warning signs are used to warn drivers about upcoming hazardous conditions and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns drivers that an upcoming bridge may be too narrow to meet or pass a truck and that they should be careful. When driving on roads that may be slippery. A. Always drive at the maximum speed limit. B. Use cruise control to maintain a steady speed. C. Reduce your following distance. D. Do not make any sudden changes in speed or direction. D. Do not make any sudden changes in speed or direction. You should avoid making any sudden changes in speed or direction when driving on a slippery surface. Reduce your speed on slippery roads and do not use cruise control. Which is not a factor in determining the distance that it takes to stop your vehicle. A. Steering ability. B. Braking distance. C. Reaction distance. D. Perception time. A. Steering ability. The distance required to stop your vehicle depends on perception time, reaction distance, and braking distance. This changes with speed and road conditions. A slow-moving vehicle emblem is A. A rectangular red sign. B. A circular green sign. C. A diamond-shaped yellow sign. D. A triangular orange sign. D. A triangular orange sign. The slow-moving vehicle symbol is a reflective orange triangle. Expect vehicles using this emblem to be driving at speeds of 25 miles per hour or slower. This green arrow on a lane use control signal means A. You may use this lane. B. No traffic is allowed in this lane. C. You have the right of way. D. You must merge into this lane. A. You may use this lane. A steady downward green arrow over a traffic lane means you may use the lane indicated. If a vehicle using high beams comes toward you, you should look toward. Fill in the blank. Of the road. A. Either side. B. The center. C. The right side. D. The left side. C. The right side. If a vehicle approaching you is using its high beams and fails to dim them, you should glance toward the right side of the road. This will keep you from being blinded by the other vehicle's headlights and will allow you to see well enough to stay on your course until the vehicle passes. When making a right turn on a green light, you must A. Maintain your normal driving speed. B. Stop and look for nearby police cars. C. Yield to pedestrians. D. Increase your normal driving speed. C. Yield to pedestrians. Unless a posted sign prohibits it, you may turn right or left at a steady green light. When turning, you must yield to other vehicles and pedestrians within the intersection. A licensed driver under the age of the 18th of May have passengers in their car when A. They obtain their license. B. They have had their license for 6 months. C. They reach the age of 17. D. Traveling to or from school. B. They have had their license for 6 months. With the exception of immediate family members, licensed drivers under the age of the 18th of May not have passengers with them in their vehicle until they have held a license for 6 months. There are exceptions to this rule when driving on agricultural assignment or in emergency situations. This sign means A. School ahead. B. School crossing. C. Pedestrian crossing. D. Construction workers on or near the roadway. C. Pedestrian crossing. Warning signs are usually diamond-shaped with black markings on a yellow background. They alert drivers to upcoming hazards. This sign indicates that there may be pedestrians crossing the road ahead.